All right, so our next problem that we're working on, we're going to solve for x. And this is a two-step equation, meaning that it's going to be more than one step for us to solve for x. So there's two steps that's going to be required in order for us to isolate the variable. So we have negative 6.4 is equal to 5x, which is, I'm sorry, negative 6.4 is equal to 5x minus 3.8. All right, so the first thing we want to ask is the variable by itself? We see that it's not. We are multiplying by 5, and then I also see that we're subtracting 3.8. So we're going to use PEMDAS, but remember, we're going to use it in reverse. So we're going to start off with addition or subtraction. In this case, I see that we have negative 3.8. So I'm going to get rid of the 3.8, the negative 3.8, by adding 3.8 to both sides. Remember that when you're using addition or subtraction, you want to make sure that you get rid of it when you're adding or subtracting, that it becomes 0. So that's why we're using the opposite. All right. So now what we have is going to be 6.4. So 6.4, that's negative plus 3.8. And that becomes negative 2.6. So we have negative 2.6. And then equal to 5x, and this cancels out. So I just basically brought everything down. Okay, so now what do we have? Now we have negative 2.6 is equal to 5x. The variable is still not by itself. So now what we need to do is figure out what operation is happening between the 5 and the x. I see that we're multiplying. So I need to use the inverse operation, which is going to be division. Okay. And so now we have negative 2.6. We're going to divide that by 5. So we're left with negative 0.52. So we brought that down. We have our equal sign, the 5 divided by 5. Remember, if you're multiplying or dividing, you want it to become 1, not 0, but 1. And so now that 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then we have the x. We basically see that there's no coefficient here because we know that the coefficient is 1. And if it's 1 and exactly 1, we don't need to show it. So x is equal to negative 0.52. So if you plug this into your equation, you should see that it works out. So your answer is negative 52 hundredths.